Isaac TeSlaa was a third-round pick by the Detroit Lions in the 2025 draft and was quite a shock to see go that early, as he was considered a sixth-round pick on many big boards. TeSlaa is a 6'4", 215-pound big slot receiver, and he's an athletic monster at his size, having a 9.93 RAS score. He lacked production in Division I football, amassing just 545 yards and 3 TDs in this past season, but he uses his frame well and is a willing blocker, and he can handle contact well, which leads me to our first film analysis. On this first play, we're going to see him lined up against Ole Miss here, and he's going to be facing some contact on his catch. He's running a simple out route here, and one of these defenders is going to stay in a little flat zone. The other one is going to pick him up and carry him across his zone until he meets that flat zone. And it's going to be a tight little window catch here as he gets up, gets the catch, reels it in, and holds onto it through all of the contact. And he also doesn't go down easy. He holds onto it and tries to fight for some yardage while he can. Breaks that one tackle, holds onto the football well, and covers it up well when more contact comes. On this next play, he will end up being manned up with this safety here, as the defense is going to be blitzing this corner. Now, this safety is going to be rolling into playing this middle safety, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to make this safety, who's playing just about, is that 10, 12 yards off coverage, and he's going to make him bite pretty hard on an out route, which then becomes that stick and nod, getting upfield and getting behind that wide receiver. As we can see here, he makes that first cut, but he doesn't commit to it too much, and then with his head, he starts to look back as if he's looking for the ball, as if this was his true route, before planting and immediately looking right past this DB. The DB had too much momentum. He's coming down from, as I said, about 12 yards off coverage. He's picked up some speed to try to cover this out route, and now he's out of position with that quick cut, which allows TeSlaa to easily get wide open here. But that doesn't mean it's an easy catch. He has to fully extend out of his 6'4" frame in order to make this catch here, and he reels it in, tucks it to his body, but it's not all good on this play. It does end with the ball being punched out from that chase down defender. So here we have that catch, and then you can see as he starts making these maneuvers downfield, he's letting the ball get away from his frame. His elbow isn't tucked, and he gives this number 5 defender that wide open lane, what that defenders look for. They look for, that opening right there to be able to punch the ball out, and he does just that, reaching in, popping that ball out. And I think my angle's not great here, but I do think that this ball was considered out in the end zone, which is a touchback for the defense. A great play from number 5, and a mistake on TeSlaa's part. Despite the fact that he set him up great with the route and he made the catch, he does have some work to do. He's, as I said, was projected a late day 3 pick. He's going to play a little bit like that. On this final play, TeSlaa's going to line up here. It's going to be pretty straightforward. He's just going to kind of run this deep route just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and let it play. He's going to end up fighting through a lot of contact here. At this point, he's getting carried downfield, fights through that contact, breaks away, and starts looking for the ball. And this is when his quarterback is out of the pocket scrambling. And that's when he makes the recognition, all right, he's going to need some of my help here. He makes this cut, leveling off his route, which I think, his route was probably just a go deep, have it thrown to you right over the middle and catch it. And he ends up leveling it out. He's going to cut the route to being this direction now, which means that his quarterback doesn't have to huck it as deep. You don't really want this out of the pocket on the move quarterback to have to huck it even further. And he ends up making this decision. He levels out his route. He had already beat his man, makes this great hands catch downfield, and takes it to the house. From this backside angle, starting with that throw, we can see that catch coming right up, right into the hands, hold on to it, tucks it to his body, and as you can see, he's doing a little bit better with ball security. He's not maneuvering the ball away from himself. That's because he's not having to make any real moves. He's not having to juke out anybody. He's just in a pure sprint. And of course, he's going to have his best form on that ball security in a full sprint. TeSlaa played quarterback in high school and then transitioned to wide receiver when making that jump to college, and that shows up with his ability to find the open space in zones, which is something that the Lions really value. Amon-Ra gets half of his receptions thanks to that trait. While I won't say that Amon-Ra is going to be losing any reps to TeSlaa, his size fits great for the Lions wide receiver 3 spot, since Tim Patrick and then previously Josh Reynolds have held that role as the big guy to target on money downs, and obviously he has some work to do, otherwise he wouldn't have been that projected late day 3 pick, but the Lions don't need him to make immediate contributions, and they can allow him to develop and make him their long-term future for that wide receiver 3 spot moving forward. His contributions in the run game also cannot be understated, as that is another MCDC staple, and look forward to seeing his growth and to see what the hometown kid can do in the NFL. Thank you all for watching.